Welcome all to Hit or Miss. I'm your host, Night Strike, and I have an assortment of panelists this evening. Let me go through these panelists, and we'll see who has actually showed up and on time tonight. Because Hit or Miss starts on time tonight. Figure that one out. Right on the top. All right, so first up, we got Mr. Rick himself behind enemy lines in the North England portion of the United States. What's going on, Rick?
Hey, how you doing? And thanks for the invite.
Anytime, Rick, anytime. And then we have everyone's favorite roll caller. We've got Roll Call 219. What's going on, Roll Call? Is he there?
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Oh, there he is.
And I'm on time.
Yes, you are. Then we got everyone's favorite Spring Hill shooter. I mean Sandhills.
Good evening. Thanks for including me.
And next up, we got Sarge. What's going on, Sarge?
Oh, not a lot. I appreciate the invite. Glad to be here. So looking forward to a good show.
All right. Well, I hope we have a good show. If not, the show is aptly named Hit or Miss. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock. Next up, we've got Squib.
Hey.
What's going on, Squib?
Just working, like normal.
All right. And last but not least, we have the one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend himself. The new co-host filling in for Smeggy, Travis P11.
I thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm happy to accept this award on Smeggy's behalf until he returns. Smeggy, we're always here for you, man. I'm always happy to step down and let you take the reins. Well, co-reins, I guess you could say. But anyway, guys, cheap plug. Make sure you check me out over on guntube.org. Channel name is Travis P11, as well as on YouTube. Over on gunchannels.com, we got the Saturday morning podcast called Caliber Corner. Most Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. Central Time. And that's pretty much it. So thanks for the invite, bro.
Holy crap. Sorry. I was just refreshing guntube.org, and apparently Edge just uploaded like 3 or 4 videos. I haven't seen Edge in forever. I don't know if he still does his show or not, but, you know.
Yeah, we had a show on Friday.
Did he have one? Okay. Huh.
And Edge is asking anybody who wants to suggest a topic, send him an email. I think it's edge4006@gmail.com. Send him an email with suggestions for show topics.
All right. Speaking of GunTube, I'm just gonna, do a public service announcement for it right real quick. I'm in the process of getting some sort of third-party email system set up so GunTube can send verification emails back and forth to people, so people can verify their accounts for better security on GunTube, as well as I'm also hopefully soon going to implement a notification system. It's going to be very, very basic, but it'll probably be an email notification system. So keep on the lookout for that. All right. So has anybody got a topic tonight? I'm looking. I'm not seeing anything that we really want to talk about tonight.
I do. I got one.
What about the laptop?
What? Who? Okay, so what I was thinking, maybe a little devil's advocate, kind of taking a cue from Midnight Range here. As gun owners, now I'm not saying I'm for it, because this is just something I saw in Truth About Guns. Do you see, like, required insurance for gun owners as being a new form of gun control or legislation that you have to have some sort of extra insurance to be a firearm owner? Or do you think that it would be a good idea to have insurance? Because in some cases, your liability insurance might not cover you if you have to defend yourself or you cause some sort of damage with the firearm. What do you guys think? The only reason I'm saying so is because we have insurance for everything else, you know?
Oh, I understand the need for it. And that's the one thing one of the reasons why I haven't, gone entirely gung-ho carrying yet is because I don't have insurance right now. So,
And I mean, I'm not even talking about like concealed carry insurance. Like, could a state mandate that you have some sort of insurance coverage to cover your firearm when it's outside your home or even inside your home?
I don't like a government mandate or a state mandate for that kind of thing. It should be up to the person.
Yeah.
Because most states have that mandate for insurance for cars. And let's be honest. Have you ever had a broken car that you're going to get rid of? Okay. But you haven't gotten the paperwork done and you've taken the insurance off of it. If you don't get rid of the car immediately, most states will charge you for as many days as that car is uninsured, even though it's broken and it's not going anywhere for the rest of its entirety.
What sort of communist state do you live in?
Wow, I've never heard of that before.
It happens in South Carolina.
I mean, you're not talking about like a fine because you don't pass the state inspection. You're so many days past your registration
because
renewal.
you don't have insurance on it.
You don't need to have insurance on a vehicle on private property. You only have to have insurance once it leaves private property and goes out onto a public street.
Yep, not in South Carolina, you don't. You have to have insurance on the vehicle. Yeah, I don't like it either. But
Tommy.
I got rid of that vehicle, so it doesn't matter. But, yeah. It's actually it's not just South Carolina that's like that. It's like that in a couple other states. But again,
I'm in Rhode Island. If you have a broken down vehicle in your yard, you better have plates on it.
Yeah.
Up to date and paid for.
Well, and there might be some HOAs, certain neighborhoods that, have state that a car can't be parked unless it's insured, tagged, tires on it, in the street, not parked out front of the house. It just depends on the state and the neighborhood,
Yeah. My township says one derelict vehicle per household. So if you've got them in the driveway and they got plates and registration and they're insured and they're all good to go, they're fine. But if you've got one project car in the backyard, you're fine. When you get that second car, you're not good. And there's places that are rural where you could just put them all in your front yard and make it look like a used car lot if you want.
Yep. So, yeah. Anyways, I really don't like insurance being required. I don't like that. It should be up to the person. It should be up to the situation. I mean, I understand where insurance will help, but again, it shouldn't be required. It should be up to the person's discretion.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean,
what is the purpose of the insurance that they're?
Oh, might be like a liability policy in case something would happen to somebody on your property or somebody off your property, I suppose. Does every homeowner's policy cover firearms though?
No,
especially if there's a medical injury involved, or I mean, obviously it would be medical injury, but I'm saying, I'm just kind of curious if there's,
So, okay, if you've got to use your firearm in a self-defense activity or whatever, or you have an ND, I would think your concealed carry insurance would cover it. I know Second Call Defense does. As far as somebody getting hurt on your property, I would think your renters or your homeowners would hurt, whether they stubbed their toe or whether they tried to sue you because you shot them because they were trying to kill you. I don't know. I mean, that's
well, like in Nebraska.
Okay,
in Nebraska, there's civil liability if you shoot somebody with your firearm, even if they're the bad guy. You got to prove that it was truly self-defense. So.
Yeah, we don't have that here. It's one of the few good things about. Well, I shouldn't say few good things. It's one of the good things about where I'm at is, as far as I know, if you are not charged criminally, you can't be sued civilly.
Okay. Rick, you want to weigh on this?
I would think that would be your concealed carry insurance though, because Second Call Defense. I don't know about the other ones because I haven't studied too much about them, but the one I've been looking into will cover you as far as bailing you out of jail your legal defense, your civil defense, recovering your firearm, replacing your firearm, grief counseling, whatever it is, they cover that. So I'd imagine their competitors would do the same thing. So I don't think it should be required, but it's already available if you want to take that extra step to get it.
All right.
Yeah, well, I got insurance.
Okay, what kind of insurance do you have?
I mean, I had the, from the Concealed Carry Association.
So you have USCCA?
Yeah, and of course they cover everything what you just said. Plus, not only that, it's not just for a firearm; it's for any weapon that I use, from a baseball bat to a wrench. I'm covered.
Okay.
Plus, I'm trying to think of what else it covers. I think that's about it. It's better. I mean, a lot of them you look at them are pretty similar. It depends how much they're insuring you for how much per month. I mean, USCA put their premium platinum up to $48 a month now, but I think you get $2.5 million worth of coverage, somewhere around there. I don't have the $48 a month one, but I got insurance. I got it when I first started getting into guns, just in case. Even if I had it even before I had a carry license, because it also covers you for shooting in the house. Like if somebody busts into your house and you drop them down, you're covered. But I like what they give you the lawyer. That's what I was mainly looking at. The lawyer and the bail money.
Okay.
That's my 2 cents worth.
All right, John, Sandhill Shooter, what do you think? You still there?
Sorry, I just was in the other room. What was the question?
Never mind.
Okay, well, and then I don't think much about it.
All right. Does anybody else have anything? Have a stance on whether insurance should be mandatory or not? Does anybody else have anything?
I got a
I
question.
don't think it should be mandatory, but it is
What
advisable.
what kind of insurance?
Carry insurance, self-defense insurance, that kind of thing.
No. Neither should a permit to carry be required. But I digress.
I have to say this because I heard a carry permit. Shut up, you infringed!
Amen.
Yes. The Church of No Fringes. So, all right. Does anybody have a topic? Unless you want to continue this one. Because I don't have anything tonight.
I mean,
it's
Travis,
bad. I'm like this every night. I don't know what. That's what I get for working on GunTube.
That's what you get.
Yeah.
So, did you see that? Did you guys talk about? Did you know I've been out with my surgery? Did you guys talk about that? No, that case they won for the 3D printing.
Yes, we talked about that last week.
And the Justice Department has declared an AR-15 is not a military weapon.
No, I mentioned this last week, but the reason why this has happened is not because they said anything new that was relevant to the case. The reason this happened is a new administration came along and said no, that it's not right because, well, let's be honest, the current administration, while yes, they haven't been the most pro-gun, but again, they're not trying to ban everything under the sun.
That's true.
Just your beloved bump stock there, Night Strike.
And that hasn't even gone through yet. So maybe that was kicking up dust for nothing.
Hasn't a decision been made on it yet?
No, they're still under deliberation as far as I know. Until they come out and say, yeah, they're illegal, don't use them, then it's still under review. So what maybe is happening is maybe they did all this just to kick up enough dirt to where it looks like they're doing something so they can actually go and work on something else.
Could be. Could be.
You know,
I see the hotel in Vegas is suing the victims.
right?
What?
The hotel in Vegas is suing 1,000 people who were victims of the shooting.
On what grounds?
How?
Because they're being sued, for the guy being in their hotel shooting them. They're suing them back, countersuing basically, because they don't have liability for that or insurance to cover that kind of contempt.
Yeah, well, how do you get insurance for terrorism?
But that's how. I understand. It was horrific. 58 people died, was it, and other hundreds wounded and stuff. I know it's horrific, but this country, you goddamn sue when you stub your toe, for Christ's sakes.
Well, that's part of American way of life, Rick, unfortunately. Litigation is key. But, Sarge, I have to ask you this. You are semi in law enforcement. Everyone knows this. Is there actual insurance for domestic terrorism?
Not to my knowledge. The only basis I think and this is just my opinion, the only basis I think they might be able to sue on would be if they failed to inform or failed to notify anyone if they knew he was carrying in these weapons. But from what I heard, he brought them in increments and just stockpiled them over the course of a few days, which, there's different shifts, there's different people working. It's not like they take notes on everybody coming through a Vegas motel. So I don't think they hold any liability in it, but also anyone can sue for anything, and they have money, they have insurance, and they're just hoping for a payout. They're hoping to settle. So.
And it's not illegal to have a gun with you when you're staying in a hotel.
No.
It's not illegal to travel with one
But it is suspicious to travel with 36.
Yeah,
and towed in an arsenal over the course of days. But it came in over the course of days.
You call 36 an arsenal. I just call it 36.
Well, let's be honest. If the guy was actually using them at a range, or at a local range because he was visiting family, I can see that. But the way it's what he did, there is no excuse, and there is no making excuses for what he did, and I have there's no justification for it. I have no sympathy for him whatsoever.
No.
So, he got what he deserved, but again, it wasn't soon enough.
They say there was no warning signs. They say there was no this, that, or the other, that he was mentally ill. He may have just been mean. He may have just been a mean, evil person that put it off that long until he finally snapped. And prior to taking himself out, he wanted to take as many people with him. That's always a possibility.
So a standard run-of-the-mill
It's pretty hard to, you can't prevent everything. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. If that were the case, there'd be no automobile accidents. There'd be no accidental injuries on the job. There's just no way to prevent everything. You can only hope to reduce it.
Yeah, that's true.
So he may have just been mean.
I got a question for Sarge.
All right.
being, you said, sort of like temporary in the police department. Now, back to the original question about insurance. Does the town or the city you work for cover you in case you say for argument, guys, you shoot somebody else by accident and they try to sue you?
You talk about when I'm working?
Insurance or the town?
Talk about when I'm working?
Yeah.
They the logical thing would be for unless I was negligent in my actions, the county would cover and defend me, because the person would sue the officer or whoever shot someone by accident. They would sue them in their official capacity. So they would be suing the entity, be it the municipality, be it the county. That's who they'd be suing. They'd be suing the person in their official capacity. Because if not, counties and cities have millions. Average citizens have debt and don't have much. So,
but as a private citizen, I mean, does your insurance cover you when you're off duty?
Not unless I'm acting in an official capacity. If I had my duty weapon or backup weapon with me and I intervened in a situation that was happening, if I did that, they would. But if it was a standard self-defense situation, I'm not at work. I'm a free citizen at that point. So no, they wouldn't.
I was just curious. Thank you.
Yeah. Unless I was, if I had my badge with me and my gun with me and I went to intervene and saw it, then they would, because I had no choice. But other than that, no.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. I've run out of topics now. Nice, right?
All right. Does anybody else want to weigh in on this?
On the Vegas thing or the insurance thing?
The insurance part.
I say no insurance. I think it would be used as a ploy to jack it so far up that nobody would be able to afford it. Anything that, to me, that seems like the government can use it as a tool against its population, I'm against. So, like, fines and all that stuff, and taxation, pretty much against all that, because people, that are non-trustworthy can use that against you. And what happens if you can't afford the insurance, but you have some guns, and they say, well, guess what? We have to come in your house and confiscate them. So,
Because you didn't buy it.
So that makes me wonder, what are your feelings about automotive insurance?
As long as, I mean, I don't believe in automotive insurance either, to tell you the truth. I mean, once it's done, it's done.
What about homeowners insurance?
That's another scandal too. Look at how many people. Yeah, look how many people can't afford. Yeah, look at flood insurance. Look at earthquake insurance. That stuff is through the roofs. That's why people can't. That's why people in those flood zones are always poor. They always have nothing because they can't afford the insurance itself.
Yeah.
So why have it?
Automotive insurance and homeowners insurance, though, are kind of their own special situation, because more often than not, the person who owns the automobile or the home bought it with a loan, and whoever holds the lien on the house or the car requires insurance to protect their investment. So I can see that, because if I don't have the cash to buy a house, then I am going to have to follow whatever criteria that the bank sets. Same with the car. Now, as far as driving or insurance being required just to drive the car, that's not a right. That's a privilege. So I think the state can say whatever they want to there. Insurance being required to carry a firearm is different. I have a right to do that. I shouldn't be taxed on that or required to do anything else to exercise that right. Same with health insurance, shouldn't be required because I have a right to be alive. Insurance is something that I choose to have, but it shouldn't be required. But homeowners and auto insurance, more often than not, that's dictated by the bank who holds the lien.
I could
You're
get
not gonna
behind
get
that.
that
agree with
I could get behind all that.
Sure. Because here's the thing about automotive insurance. You go out and you spend so much money on these new vehicles. They are so overpriced. And you buy a $40,000 truck and some guy comes and hits it with his $1,500 Cavalier. And if they don't have insurance, which they may or may not, but the requirement is, because it's required, most people have it. Most. There's always going to be that percentage that drives illegally, but probably 95% have it. So somebody hits it with their $1,500 Cavalier. They don't have 5 to 7 grand to pay for a fender now because the repair costs are ridiculous. So at least that insurance is going to pay for your new vehicle, or at least pay for most of it for the repair, and you're not going to be out 5 to 7 grand out of your own pocket.
Well, that would be depending.
I'm behind it, 100% for automotive insurance.
That would be depending on your state laws and your deductibles, though.
Yeah, but if it's someone else's fault?
If somebody hits me, I don't pay a penny. It's great. It's wonderful.
But you're still, that's because you have insurance to cover it, and you're paying extra for the non-liability for the other person not having.
That's true. Michigan is 3 times more expensive than all the other states. Yeah.
Let's flip that around. What would happen if insurance was not required by the state to drive down the road, and your $40,000 pickup gets totaled by a $1,500 Cavalier? That guy can't afford it. You can't do anything about it. He's not insured, but there's no law against that. Then what? You're just out the repair bill, and there's no recourse, and that would be worse.
When I had
your insurance because your company required it. So you're paying for it one way or the other. I think everyone should pay their fair share instead of you paying it.
Yeah.
Another truck. They should have to pay their fair share with their $1,500 Cavalier, because it's not fair.
They should
for everyone else to pay their part.
But I make sure that my uninsured motorist on my policy is really high. When I got hit on my motorcycle, the woman who hit me had no insurance at all, and the uninsured motorist portion of my policy covered everything. So if I can't make somebody else do their due diligence or follow the law or do the right thing, but if the insurance company or the state law allows me to spend the extra money for my peace of mind, I'm all for that. I don't think it should be forced. I think it should be optional. If you want to pay a premium for extra insurance, I think it should be available.
For extra, but I think basic liability should be mandatory if you're going to operate a vehicle on the highway. Because if you want to travel around without paying insurance, go get a horse, go get something else, and do that. But I think everyone should have to have insurance to drive on a vehicle on the highway.
I agree with you, Squib, though. You're right. The option should always be there, and thank God we're in a capitalist economy where that's anybody who wants to pay for a service, if it's a legal service, you can do that. You can sell whatever service you want to if it doesn't break the law. And if I want to pay for it, I will. And if I don't like your price, I'll go shopping for somebody who's less. So you're right. Yeah. I agree with you.
I agree with both you and Sarge. I think that people should have to have the insurance operate on a public street. And I also think that if you want to be able to buy additional insurance to cover yourself in case they're irresponsible, I think that should be available. It's just, it comes down to enforcement again.
So
you can impound their car and you can take their license, but that ain't going to stop them from going and getting their car out of the impound and driving it without a license.
All right, we got a question from Midnight Range TM, and I want to bounce it off you guys. Travis is saying, do you think in a questionable shoot that having insurance would look bad? Like you were more prone to shoot since you had insurance?
No.
So it wouldn't look like you had something to prove, or you were out there to intentionally shoot someone by having insurance?
I could see a prosecutor saying that in a court of law because they want to fry you.
I can too.
Gun prosecutor.
But insurance doesn't cover someone who knowingly does someone reckless or negligent. It's just like your auto insurance. If you went out and purposely drove through a store, that's not an accident. That's an intentional act, and they're going to walk away and not do anything. So the person that's paying those premiums, they're trying to do the right thing. I would think, from my standpoint, I wouldn't have an issue with it.
If I did have carry insurance and I ever found myself in a courtroom and the prosecutor tried to say that I was, the fact that I had insurance to cover my lawyer bill was proof that I was looking for trouble, I would point to that very same thing and be like, I pay insurance on my vehicle just in case something bad happens. I have insurance on my home in case there's a fire. I have insurance for concealed carry because I'm a responsible citizen.
I wear my seatbelt because I want to survive in case there's a wreck. You know, I don't go out looking to wreck just because I put my seatbelt on.
Very good
I don't
point.
have a fire extinguisher because I'm going to burn my house down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very. I like that. I like the way you said that, Sarge.
All right.
The only thing I disagree with what everybody's saying about car insurance is I don't think your premium should be based on your fucking credit score.
No, that does seem a little stupid.
I mean, I understand where they're coming from. If you got bad credit, it means you don't pay your bills on time. But if you got a high car insurance, that's why people might drive without insurance. You know, if you had a lower premium, they might pay it.
I don't have an answer for that. Is that the way it is? Does insurance vary based on your credit score?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, they do a credit check on you. If you do not have credit, say you pay cash for everything all your life, you go to get car insurance, you're going to pay more. It would behoove you to get a credit card and build credit to lower your insurance costs.
And if you run into financial trouble and you've got bad credit, or the lower your credit score, the more you pay in premiums.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. I mean, I'm just saying this there because I was there at one time, so I know.
Okay. We got another question out there from Atypical Jake. He says, would you be more likely to get sued civilly if you had an insurance policy? Municipalities and companies get sued because there is money to be had.
I think you're going to get sued no matter what.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
I don't know how the plaintiff would find out you had an insurance policy before they filed a suit.
Well,
right.
Like I said, if you're charged, they're going to sue you no matter what. And that's going to be your basis of getting the suit dismissed, whether you were found not guilty criminally or never even charged criminally. Well, excuse me. I would say, A, never charged. The DA refused to prosecute because they viewed it as self-defense. They have very little ground to stand on. If you were charged and subsequently found not guilty, they'd have a little more ground to stand on. But if you were found guilty, then they have their case is almost settled for them. So I think it depends on those factors more so than if you have insurance.
Okay. All right. So we're going to move on from that and talk about something a little more interesting. I found some topics to talk about. So apparently, Magpul has released a new line of eyewear. Did you see that?
No.
Way too expensive. Way too expensive.
Oh, I know they're expensive, but I do want to talk about it. So, from what I'm seeing in this article, they're talking about the eyewear and how they're supposed to boost, they're supposed to protect you from this and that. And that's great. That's what it's supposed to do. But again, the prices on that. What are the prices? Has anybody seen any MSRPs on that?
They're going for about $100 to $140 on Brownells. I just can't justify that on something that I could very easily scratch or break. However, I might spend that sort of money to wear them to the range to be a bigger snob than I am.
I can see you doing that too.
It looks.
Thank you very much.
Looks like the Magpul Explorer is between $129 and $149 on their site.
There's the Explorer, there's the Terrain, there's the Summit.
I didn't know these things existed until a minute ago.
Oh, now if they've got a $25 pair, that's a lot more. I just did a quick glance after they released 2 videos today. So I did a quick glance on Brownells before I left for work, and I just looked at 2 different styles, and one was $99, and I think one was $129, $139. The 25 would be more than reasonable.
I don't think they have any $25 ones.
No, they've only.
I thought you said 25. What did you say?
No, $129 to $149 for the first
Okay.
style I looked at. Looks like they go up to $159 for the Terrain. And I'm just looking at MSRP. Yeah, they're all going to be close to $150, $160.
Yeah, well, while they look cool, and if I could get a pair, I would, but I'm not paying over $100 for what is essentially, I'm going to say this, and you guys can chastise me for it, shooting sunglasses. And I'm saying that with air quotes. Because that's essentially what these look like. They just look like specialized sunglasses to use while you shoot.
And that's what they are. I mean, if I want to spend that sort of money, I'll get some Ray-Bans, you know?
Right. And if I wanted that, I'd get a new pair of Oakleys. But the current pair I have is just fine, so, you know, why ruin a good thing? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But again, I just figured it'd be interesting to look at, talk about, because, hey, it's gun stuff.
So looks like they cost about as much as Oakley's do. But that Oakley warranty is tried and proven.
Yeah.
It is a lot of money. It's a lot of money, that's for sure, on those Oakleys, but their warranty is pretty good.
Magpul isn't... has anybody ever tested Magpul's warranty?
So I've got no knowledge base on that.
Neither do I, so... That's... For those that don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to screen share here. So if you're listening to this on a podcast or later and you don't have video, just know that I'm showing the sunglasses. So these are what these look like. This is the Explorer. Which one's the other one?
The Terrain.
I think that's the Terrain. Oh, this is still the Explorer.
Actually, if you get these in the non-polarized, they get down around $100.
There we go. Yeah, there's the Terrain. There's the Summit, and there's the Explorer. I kind of like the Summit more so than the other ones.
Click on it and hit the option for the non-polarized and see how much they are.
Where's the non-polarized? Right here?
Just once you click on it, see if they're
$109.
So that's getting closer to being reasonable.
That's closer, but you know, not very. See that? You only got 2 colors, you know, gray and rose. But essentially, these are just shooting sunglasses. So it's good. I'm not going to play the video because I'm not trying to sell any glasses. Because if I was, I would already have asked for a T&E copy.
You can get them in tortoiseshell.
Huh?
You can get them in tortoiseshell.
I don't know. I think I would have to consult with Mr. Nice on that before I do that.
So we were talking about the Magpul eyewear, huh?
Yeah, it came up. I saw it. It came up to me in a news topics. Hey, check this out. So
somebody told me that
about
it looks a lot like there's another brand called Luxottica that makes like eyeglass frames and sunglasses, and somebody was saying that they look eerily similar to Luxottica eyewear.
Well-
So I can't help but I wonder if Magpul's really making this themselves or if they're farming it out to somebody. And I mean, Magpul's a great company. I'm not bashing them at all. I love them. But, you know.
I don't believe they're making these themselves. I wholeheartedly believe that they're paying somebody else to make these and then brand them with their logo.
Yeah, they
got the money to make it themselves if they wanted to.
No. But the thing is, I'm not paying $149 for what is essentially shooting sunglasses. That's great. I'll just get a pair of Oakleys if I want that.
What's the name of that other company?
Dude, Oakleys are no cheaper. What are you talking about?
I know, but I've already got a pair of Oakleys, so why would I buy these? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't know. Somebody who's a Magpul
Oakleys
fan
aren't
that
broken, so if they're not
wants to
broken,
be-
don't fix it.
rocking tactical. You know what? I wear $10 Nemesis safety glasses. I mean, you know, you can get $5 ones at Walmart. So, you know, it's
See what I
just,
mean?
yeah, you can get by with a lot less. It's just some people might, well, you know, you might have maybe a little bit better optical clarity and, you
I
know,
know.
polarized lenses and stuff. And
I know some guys have to be super tactical Mall Ninja operator, and that's great. Good for you guys. Go for it. Do videos. Be the guinea pigs. I'm not going to. I'm sorry.
dude, these will make you straight up instructor zero if you wear them, though. You're going to be just rocking the Costas going on there, you know.
If GunTube actually starts making money instead of being a money sink, then yes, I might have a pair of these. I might even show them off and go to all the events in them. But until that time, there ain't no way in hell I'm buying a pair of these.
Should I email them and ask them to do a tabletop review?
No, I'll email them and ask them if I can do a tabletop review. Not that I'm going to get a favorable answer, because I don't have 1,000 subscribers.
So when all the YouTube money starts, or the GunTube money starts rolling in, the order will be placed to Magpul for these glasses.
Yes, I'll get it in rose color.
He is on record, folks.
You heard it here first. When the GunTube money starts rolling in and actually making a profit, Night Strike will go all tactical. No. I don't think I'd wear any of these.
Just to answer questions about that, I was reading about these earlier. They do not come in prescription either. I don't know if you guys had mentioned that or not.
No,
a lot of guys, you get these in prescription frames,
And that's the thing. Travis, you and Sand Hills and even Rocall know this. I need my glasses to see.
Oh, yeah. Me too, man.
The one thing is, that's why I wouldn't get these, because I'd have to take my glasses off in order to wear these.
Well, you get contacts, or you can get
over
LASIK.
my glasses. I can't get LASIK.
I don't really think it's going to affect your accuracy that much if you weren't wearing prescription glasses. I'm just saying.
Ouch. Hey, you know what? In Night Strike's defense, he was shooting with a wounded hand that day on a pistol that he'd never fired before. All right. In sweaty, hot, nasty conditions that he just wasn't ready for. It's not his fault.
I'm not too sure on the last part, because it was pretty cold in there.
He's not a trained Marine, okay? Jeez, man.
All right. But anyways, that's that. We're done talking about the Magpul sunglasses. That's what I'm going to call them. I'm just going to call them the Magpul sunglasses, because that's what they are. All right. So, a new topic. Sarge, I'm going to ask you on this one, because this is more pertaining to you. You heard about what happened the other day in Las Vegas, right?
About what?
About that car chase in Las Vegas.
I saw a video today, but I have not researched any of the details. So I'm listening.
Okay, well, basically, we got body cam footage of this guy where this officer is. It's something straight out of a movie. Whereas he's getting shot at from a car ahead of him, and he's shooting back straight through his windshield as he's driving.
Was it a Nissan, some sort of Nissan SUV, or it was a foreign SUV?
Some sort of SUV. Yeah. But again, he's I know why he's doing it, but is it justified to shoot through the window? While he's driving, while they're, I don't know. What
led up to it?
Well, apparently, I got the article up here. Why don't I go over it, right? Okay.
I watched the video this morning of the press conference with the sheriff, and those were murder suspects that were fleeing the scene of crime, I believe. And that officer was in pursuit, and then another officer joined him. And the sheriff said in the press conference that the LV Metro has what regulations that they're only allowed to fire at or from a moving vehicle in extreme emergency situations when the officer believes that doing so will prevent somebody from being injured, and the guy was heading towards a school, driving the way that he was.
Okay.
And they fall under they were authorized to use deadly force because they were fleeing through use of a deadly weapon if they were shooting at the officer.
Right. And LVMPD says their regulations say that you don't fire to disable the vehicle, you fire to disable or kill the driver.
To stop the driver. Yes.
To stop the driver. Right. Disable or kill if that's what happens.
Well, he might not have had any other better angles. I mean, it's like he didn't want to hang out the side of the car. He didn't want to like stick his arm out the window and pull the trigger.
Right.
He's running, what's that?
He did switch to his left hand at one point, put the gun out the window, and then changed his mind and brought it back inside without firing.
Okay.
He just shot straight through the windshield.
I think he realized at that point that wasn't going to be a safe way to fire, and then he brought it back in.
Yeah.
So, Sarge, answer a question for us. If he was running critical duty in his gun, would it have been able to penetrate the windshield and the vehicle in front of him?
Oh, I don't know.
I mean, because that's a barrier type of round that's supposed to be designed for it. But I'm kind of curious if he lost any effectiveness by shooting through the windshield.
Well, I have never done this, but from what I've read, the object that you're supposed to do if you're ever in that situation is you're supposed to punch a hole through the windshield, then shoot through that hole.
Okay.
Am I the only one who caught that?
Yeah, that's the only way that would ever work. So and with a handgun, he was in a desperate situation if that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
But they stopped, and he got out and he engaged him again. And if you watch that mag change is real life. Watch the mag change. He started to put it in backwards. I don't think he had the gun in his dominant hand.
Oh, okay.
I think he had the mag in his dominant hand because it looked very awkward, but that was real life. Everyone thinks they could do this stuff really fast and really quick, but not when your heart rate's out the roof, not when your adrenaline is just going crazy. That was real life, and he still got out, and he engaged him again, and more shots were fired when he was outside the vehicle. So, because you see them, they start to back up and then go back forward again. So, I don't know.
Well, and I would assume in that situation, his eyes were not on his hands. He wasn't looking at what he was doing either.
Oh no,
he was looking.
No.
He was keeping his eyes on the suspect. So,
but it looked like it was. I don't know this, but it looked like he was using his non-dominant hand to hold the gun and grab the magazine with his dominant. I don't know that. I have no way of knowing that. But just judging by his motions, that's what it looked like.
He shot right-handed. So
I don't know. I'm just saying it looked awkward.
You play the video to see which hand that's in.
I just went and watched the footage where he's reloading, and he tries to put the magazine in backwards. And in a situation where you're under stress and you're trying to, I guess, defend your life and defend the lives of civilians.
And that's what makes me think
as you're pursuing an armed suspect, then I can see where you can make a mistake like that in the heat of the moment.
It looks like because you should have your rounds facing forward, so when you grab the magazine, you put it in correctly. That's one of the other things that makes me think that, like he grabbed the magazine from the other side, like it would have been facing the other way. It just makes me think he had his non-dominant hand, but I may be wrong.
Well, maybe he grabbed the magazine with his non-dominant hand.
Well, you're supposed to.
That's what you would do.
But it makes me think that it was like he grabbed it, like I would hold my gun in my right hand, grab my magazine that's on my left side, and the round should be facing forward, and I should insert it that way. It would be hard to do it backwards if I was holding it in that manner. It would be hard to do it backwards, which makes me think that the magazines were on the other side. So when he switched, he grabbed them. They were facing the wrong way. Is why it started to go in backwards. It's just what makes me think that.
Yeah, I just figured it'd be interesting to talk about because I saw that video earlier this weekend, and I figured it'd be an interesting topic to talk about.
If you want to see an interesting video of someone shooting through the windshield, research the West Memphis shooting, where they ran into the sovereign citizens in West Memphis, Arkansas. It was, I think the guy's name was, I know the last name was Paget. I think it was Brian Paget was shot, and his partner, and the chief's name is, I think it's David Paget, Padgett. Because I went to a seminar where he came and spoke, but that crime spree was stopped by a Fish and Wildlife officer that was like an hour away. He ran them to him in a Walmart parking lot, and he drove into their van. I mean, literally drove into it. He leaned over. They fired into the truck that he was in. They shot through the headrest and everything. He came back up with his AR-15, and he shot and eliminated them point blank through his windshield. He was like 6 or 8 feet from these people, shooting into their vehicle. I mean, because I'm counting the length of the hood, and he eliminated both of them and then backed out of there. That was a gunfight. So if you want to watch some good video of someone shooting through a windshield, look that up. The West Memphis shooting. It's impressive.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. He was trying to do he switched his gun from his right to his left hand when he was getting out of the car, and he did put the mag in backwards. So I think he was non-dominant hand trying to do the mag change, and it was backwards.
Just because of the situation, being in the car, trying to get out of the car, it's interesting. He was trying to adapt for that situation with the vehicle. It's hard to get out of a vehicle and get your gun out really quick when you're right-handed. Unless they're to your left side. If they're in front of you or to the other side, it's really, really hard to do quickly. So,
what was the results of this incident today? Did they kill the guy, catch the guys, or what was the final results? Anybody get away, or
one dead and one in the hospital, wasn't it?
Okay.
I'm looking up right now.
Yeah, it's
this morning, if I remember right, one suspect was killed in the exchange, and the other one ran off, but they caught up with him and took him to the hospital for injuries or wounds. I don't know if he was shot. I don't know what happened.
Says they fired up to 60 shots at the cops during the pursuit too.
Oh, well, that's why the gloves were off.
Yeah.
They were ending that one more.
These guys are weaving through traffic and everything trying to catch him. I mean, it was hardcore, man.
Oh, from the beginning of the video, the part that I saw when the body cam kicked on, I mean, pretty much all the officer that was driving the car said was shots fired. Every time they'd shoot at him, he would, kill the dispatch. And that's all he ended up saying, and then, what cross street he was coming to. But yeah, they said that the suspects in the vehicle fired more rounds than the officers did in the exchange.
They said the guy did try to run into an elementary school too. The perpetrator that got out of the car, the door was locked, so he couldn't get into the school. Then they got him.
Holy mackerel!
That could have been ugly.
It's awful.
Yeah.
That's why he did it. They must have had knowledge that these guys were extremely dangerous, because that's the only thing that could even come close to justifying that. I'm watching the video right now, so I'm getting caught back up on it.
So it says police said the suspects fired 34 rounds at the officers, and the officer fired 31 shots at the men in the SUV.
31. It's probably 15 plus 1 and another 15.
Yep. So what, a Glock 19, I'm guessing?
No, the sheriff said it was a Glock 17, so he must have still had a few left in his mag.
Okay.
Oh, he had a few left.
Yeah,
Now,
it looked a lot larger than a Glock 19, so yeah, I can see something.
Okay.
The sheriff said it was a Glock 17. It was a duty gun.
Okay.
Yeah.
These guys are driving on the opposite side of the median into traffic.
Oh, yeah.
So I just
Oh,
saw
boy.
the short version.
Yeah, I was looking at it on Fox News, and they show a 4-minute clip of it. It's pretty intense.
My God, I mean, these things are so close to disaster the entire time that they last. They are so close to disaster.
Is Sheriff John Bonnell narrating the chase?
He might be. As if they're on the surface streets of Las Vegas, is what he always says. You're on the highway or you're on the surface streets.
Wow.
Now,
At least
what I did notice is there are support units blocking traffic at points because they have so many people out there working. So many. Here he goes. He starts to shoot left-handed. And then I'm thinking he's left-handed. And he did that so he could drive. I could be wrong.
Would you recommend the Ace Ventura style and, hang out there and?
I don't think anyone would
Let him
recommend
go.
the Ace Ventura style because he was
See,
Ace Ventura was a pet detective. He wasn't really
Well, he
a
may
real
not be.
detective.
now he did lean out the window and light him up at the end.
No, he
If
didn't.
that officer was Ace Ventura, he
puts
would have
it
caught a
into
bullet in his teeth.
Yeah, he put the gun in his left hand and tried to put the magazine in with his right. So he was probably right-handed. But that's real life, guys. That's adrenaline. That's all kinds of craziness has just happened.
Yeah, and remember, in a real life situation like that, you're not going to always pick up your magazine or your gun the exact way you want to.
Nope.
Situations happen, and you literally have to deal with whatever happens as it happens. Unfortunately.
I mean, this guy's doing a reality check the whole time to see if this is even happening. Make sure.
So, are there any communities in an uproar right now because the two guys were Hispanic and the police officer was white?
He didn't look Hispanic. His hands look dark.
Oh, did he?
Oh God.
No, I'm saying he looks like.
People are going to complain that it's a hate crime.
Yeah.
Well, no matter what they are. He looks like he may be Hispanic as well. I don't know this.
All right.
I'm just looking.
Better have insurance.
Yeah, you better have. I hope the department has the insurance. Yes.
What was the shooting in? Was it Wisconsin where they shot the concealed carry holder, the black gentleman, and they said it was a white versus black crime, but the guy was of Asian descent or something, or
Yeah, the
Hispanic?
Castile, is that what his name was? Was
Yeah.
it the Castile case? Yeah.
He was either Hispanic.
Yeah, it was.
or
Yeah.
Asian.
Yeah, it was not. He was not Caucasian.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter because that's what the left is going to say. So.
Well, did you see that recent shooting in Chicago? I mean, that stirred up a protest. It's like, well, he's walking around downtown Chicago or down in one of the little burbs with a gun and a magazine, and then the people are protesting. After he pulls away from the cops, jumps over the curb, and starts running away, grabbing at his gun. I mean, and they go out there and protest for it.
If he's grabbing at his gun, hey, run away, whatever. That just is what it is. That's part of the game. But not use a weapon. Nope. Well, it's just like right now, because they're protesting that. They're protesting that right there. In an area close to me, there was a recent drive-by shooting where a 17-year-old and a 12-year-old were shot. The 12-year-old died on scene. There has not been a protest yet for those kids. That's what should be protested.
Trauma
right
Jock
there.
just mentioned out there on the YouTube side, fine motor skills and good judgment go out the window in life and death situations. It's
That's
well
what I
done.
meant to do. That's why I don't use a slide stop, because you'll never find that dang thing when there's bullets coming back at you. When you're on a two-way range, you'll never find it. But you can find the top of the slide and hit the rear sights with your hand and rack it that way.
Okay,
You'll
here's the
never find those little things.
Yeah, that's all I ever do.
I got a question.
Yeah.
If like the adrenaline's pumping and everything goes out the window, why train?
Because it comes back to you. If you train with gross motor skills, you'll be well apt at what you're doing. If you train in fine motor skills, you won't be able to do it.
I don't think
So
you're
if you
training
train-
for the skills. You're training to be able to respond faster.
Well, you'd be surprised how your training kicks in.
I'm thinking about like
If
taking
you-
cover and aiming and positioning yourself and just doing it automatically, not thinking about it.
Yep. Like I said, the fine little things, the quick the mag changes like a competition shooter does. No, that won't happen. But the gross motor skills, the re-rack and the slide, the re-rack, the reloading in a combat situation will help. Like you said, the ducking, the cover, the getting behind things, cover versus concealment, that stuff will kick in.
Yeah, you usually the first edge of conflict is the most confusing, and this isn't like a war zone scenario. In a war zone scenario, the first contact, that's when it gets jittery, but after then you have lulls in the fighting. This you don't. It's right. Bam! You have it's reaction time. It's not thinking time. In combat, you have a lull in the action at times where you can collect your thoughts, and that's when the training kicks in. That's when strategy and everything comes about.
A lot of times in calls like this, I can't speak for these guys. A lot of these situations, these people and myself, you're more nervous on the way there when there's time to think than when it just happens. Because when it happens, you don't have time to get scared or to get nervous because you don't have time to. That's just kind of pushed out to the side. When you get scared is like on the way and thinking what's going to happen. But if it just happens all of a sudden, just when your training kicks in, you get through it, and then you're scared after it starts to die down. So.
All right.
I got in a standoff with a guy for over, I think it was like 30 minutes, and that was an awful situation. I mean, there was shots fired. That was an awful situation. I was stuck in the parking lot for over 30 minutes behind my vehicle. But I was more scared going to an officer-involved MVA that I went to a couple hours before that, where someone got hit helping someone else with a disabled vehicle, than I was going to that call, because I didn't exactly know what was going to happen when that call started, and there was no time to be scared. It was just, we got to react, we got to do this, we got to get through this situation. But I was more worried going to that other guy that got hit by a vehicle. So these guys were going off, instinct and training. I digress.
Thank you for the answer. I was just curious.
No, it's great to have that kind of insight here as we're discussing this, because I don't know. I'm not in law enforcement. I don't know this. None of my family is in law enforcement. Former military, yes, but not law enforcement. So I have no idea. So it's great to hear about the insight. So,
well, like I said, that's just my 2 cents. That's all it is.
Better to have sense than no sense.
So when I'm standing up in court and I said, well, Sarge said this.
No.
I don't think I'll qualify as an expert witness.
I think I have to say this, but the expressed views or opinions of the panelists are not the expressed views or opinions of Hit or Miss. Just FYI.
Yeah, none of this is official. There's no cash redemption value. There's no nothing.
Do not try.
Entertainment purposes only.
Do not, for entertainment purposes only, do not try and use any of this in court.
Do not try any of these moves at home. I can wrestle them.
Because Roddy Piper would.
Oh, don't even.
All right.
Even. I'm gonna make you watch the 3 DVD Ric Flair set that I have, and you tell me who's the best.
No.
We're gonna break this down into sections.
You'd have to come down to South Carolina for that. You know, the better Carolina.
Excuse me. I don't have to have every vehicle I own insured, whether it's on the road or not. So I think that answers the question: which one's the better Carolina?
I don't have to ask law enforcement for a permit to go and buy a pistol.
Yeah, maybe you got me there. I'll concede that.
I don't have to do any of that stuff or use a shotgun for my target practice.
Hey, it wasn't a fucking shotgun, all right? It was a 1911, and it wasn't mine. Damn it.
You need to get the edges like filed down on that other gun that you were using so you don't cut yourself and kill yourself when even cleaning it.
If it had been a shotgun, that pattern would have made a lot more sense.
Okay, we're cutting short. We're done. Thank you all for listening to Hit or Miss. We're done. Rick,
I thought we're just getting started though.
Rick, final thoughts.
Well, I will be back on air tomorrow night after my surgery at 7 o'clock, as Rick I say it. And that's about all I got.
Hey, roll call.
Thanks for having me, buddy. And next time I see you, I'll give you a big hug.
I'm not looking forward to that. Sand Hill Shooter.
Thanks for the invite. And I will give you the other part of that hug.
Oh, okay. Sarge, self-promote.
I appreciate the invite. If you get a chance, watch my latest video where I'm experimenting with the frame rate on my camera into a little Glock subcompact video. If you get a chance, watch that. And I'm 100 subs shy of 1,000, so I got to start planning my 1,000 sub giveaway. I got to start planning something good.
I'm still like 200 subscribers short of 1,000, so I don't know what that's like.
So,
Dude, you're only 100 short of Sarge. You're almost there. You'll be there.
So, all right, Squib, self-promote if you have anything.
No, but I just want to say, Rick, see you tomorrow night.
Yep, okay.
All right, Travis, you're up.
All right, get cozy. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on gunchannels.com, Caliber Corner, guntube.org. And all the channels are called Travis P11 on Gunstreamer, YouTube, and guntube.org, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and so on. A lot of good stuff coming up on the channel.
All right. I'm going to do a little self-promotion here, too. Check out nightstrike.com. Check out, my channel on YouTube. That's Nightstrike1. Also, check out guntube.org and upload a video or two if you can. Aside from that, remember, hit or miss, Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. And on that note, we're done. Stick a fork in it. Thank you all for listening. This was Hit or Miss. Shall not be infringed.